Good morning. Just pulled into work. My actually I called in yesterday. Was not feeling too pleasant. Everyone has those days, and it's one of those things where the employer may not understand, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. It's not like I call in all the time anyway. It's not like I really give a damn about what they think. But pretty gloomy day today. It's supposed to storm. We need the rain, so I kind of welcome it. I'm still a little messed up, as it may sound. It still might be a leave home early day. My been doing a lot of thinking about, because I had an extra day to do it. It's so nice having that. We're people, where we're all lost and we're all looking for that sense of identity. And I live in the United States, best nation on earth. Even with its flaws, it's the best place to be. I believe that. My fellow countrymen and women and even natives, there's a sense of just hatred towards each other and towards this and that, and I'm not innocent in that, where I think that I hate somebody or I think that I hate a certain place. And that's part of thinking emotionally, you know what I mean? And that's just not healthy to do, especially as a man, because you're going to be seen as weak and easily manipulated by someone that understands people just a little bit, And I've just been looking, and how many people know their neighbors anymore, know their names, or even know how many kids play on their block. It's our sense of identity has went from like national to city to to literally town, all the way down to family, like household. We're all in our independent little city states, like we did back in antiquity, way back when. And back then we used to identify with as tribe, and that sense is gone. We're no longer tribal thinking. We have some echoes of it with our behaviors and our patterns and our choices of distraction, but we're no longer a group thinking people anymore. We're literally just individual, selfish, me, I, and I think it's why the world is so messed up. Like, if you don't know what to do and you don't know how to get out of it, which I don't, not many people do, and that's why we live hand in mouth, paycheck to paycheck, because we don't know how the world works. But when it comes to success, you don't need to work 100 hours a week like Elon Musk says. That just enriches people like him because they own the jobs. You don't need to find a sense of family, or you don't need to be great by building a gigantic company like Bezos. They're not great, they're not highly intelligent because of the things they built. They're where they are because they have figured out how people work. And people don't know what they want anymore. We chase after distractions. It's easy to manipulate someone that's lost because they don't know where to go. And I'm trying to get a message out this morning where you can still have that effect on the world, where your choices matter, right? Everything's down the choice. And you may not even see it in your lifetime, the effects of a choice that you make. And it can be as simple as saying yes or no to a certain situation. Like, here's an example, I'm going to make one up here, but this does happen, where let's say the city, the super highly intelligent city board, thinks that it is wise to spend tax dollars on a certain project, right? And they're going to call it, let's say, modernizing our town, or some just insert title here. And let's say this bill uses a big hunk of tax dollars to be wasted on tearing down a monument, that historical one, to put up some new age culture crap, right? And they're going to call it culture, and they're going to put a label on it. So it could be for political, it can be for modernizing, it can be for insert reason here. Simply saying no may have a larger effect than you will ever know, or anybody else will ever know. You may not see any results, but maybe that plan that they're trying to rush through, that 1 month plan, turns to 6 because one person said no. Someone else, because they saw someone say no, got the courage to also say no. And then other people saw that, and they also said no. And enough people said no that 1 month plan becomes 6. More people say no. That 6 month plan becomes 1 year, then 2 years, then 5 years, then 10 years, then 20 years. And you may not even live there anymore. You may have gotten better opportunities elsewhere, and you've done left. No one remembers who you are, but that choice you made of saying no had a very, very pronounced effect. The things we do each day define the way the world is. I believe that. And what we see in the world is literally a mirror into ourselves. If all we see is misery and suffering and depression and garbage and trash, then that's because we're not in a good headspace, that we're not doing well inside. We see ourselves when we look at the world. Artists, they're able to do great works of art because they see beauty in the world. They see beauty. Bankers are good at what they do, and they see world as numbers because they see the world as numbers. That's why they're so good with numbers. That's why they're good with money. It's all a structure to them. They're good. They like graphs and boxes and hard lines. And artists are the abstract version of that. That's why they're so different. A race car driver sees the world as one long highway. Get in a nice car, a super vehicle, A hiker sees the world as one big trail. Mountain climber sees the world as the next hill, the next thing to get on top of. And that all just may be my speculation, and it probably is. I may just be rambling and sound like a adult to a lot of people, but I mean it. When you see the world, you're looking at yourself. And my world has been too much of finances, and I'm not even a banker. I'm focusing on the wrong things because the world says this is how you need to be, or the people that are on top of it say that's how it needs to be. And you know why they say that? You know why we're taught that? You know why we go to school to learn this function, to program it into our heads? Because those people rely on us to see the world like that. And that is not how it works. The world is just here. We are here. We don't live in an Amazon warehouse. That's not what made that man great. What made that man great is he found out how to manipulate people, how to take advantage of people. And there's nothing wrong with that. There isn't. It's natural for a leader, and you may not like the man, but he is a leader. That's how he was so successful. He was able to manipulate and get people to follow him, get people to work for him. Elon, he's a leader. You may not like him, but he's an intelligent man. He got people to follow him. He got people to see like him. Other people that see as well as him. But they're not as good at understanding how people work. You can manipulate people easier than you think. Doesn't mean you should do it. When I say be a leader, I don't want you to make choices for people. That's not what I mean. When I say be a leader, I want you to take control of your own life. Make choices for yourself. Don't go to the internet to find out what's best for this person, this personality type. What gifts would this introvert like? None of that's relevant. You know how you find that stuff out? You talk to them. That's how you find out what someone likes. You talk to them. As simple as that. Make that impact, because simply talking to that person could result in a lifelong memory for that other person and forever alter their life. Because they may be seeing nothing but misery, but that one act of social interaction, that one act of hopefully kindness, that one would be what they remember when they've had a rough day at some point. And it does happen. I'm telling you, like, I've had these moments where I've had a really rough day, but a good memory of just simply sharing a cup of coffee with someone I never met cheered me up. And it wasn't even the intent of the conversation. It was just about coffee. If you ever see that video, you know, that one person, I'm not going to say their name for privacy, but you know who you are. Thank you for that talk. That was a really enjoyable moment. But I'm going to go work, and hopefully the rain comes and the sun comes out, because I don't like working in gloom. I don't want to be outside in the downpour. So anyway, make choices. Lead yourself, and other people that are lost will look up to you. Don't be remembered as something you're not. Be remembered for what you want to be. Find your tribe. Even in the Bible, there are tribes. Think about it. Find your tribe. Anyway, have a good rest of your day.